You are about to engage in the guidebook unit, The Whipping Boy. The purpose of this video is to help you better understand what life was like for people in the Middle Ages, because the story is set in this time period. This will help you determine the importance of the characters and events as you engage in the unit texts. Be sure you have your handout and something to write with for the video. Can you imagine what life would be like without things like toothpaste, showers, or forks? If you lived during the Middle Ages, you would not have these things. Let's take a closer look at what life was like during the Middle Ages, which will help you when you read the book, The Whipping Boy. The Middle Ages was an important period of time in Europe that began around the year 500 AD and lasted about 1,000 years, or until around 1500 AD. We sometimes hear this time referred to as the Dark Ages, or medieval times. This period in history takes place between ancient times and modern times, which may be why it is called the Middle Ages. Many important events took place during this time, beginning with the end of the Roman Empire, a time when Rome ruled much of Europe. When the rule of the Roman Empire ended, there was confusion as local kings and rulers tried to take power. This was the start of the Middle Ages. The Middle Ages ended as the Renaissance, or rebirth of Europe, began around the year 1500. Now you are ready to show what you know about when the Middle Ages took place. Pause this video to label the 3 time periods on the timeline on your handout at stop sign number 1. Then hit play when you are ready to continue. The Middle Ages took place from around the years 500 to 1500 AD, between the ancient times and modern times. The Middle Ages are often associated with castles and kings, lords and peasants, and knights in shining armor, but it was actually different than what we see in storybooks. Let's take a closer look at what life was really like. Life in the Middle Ages was much different from life today. Today, children go to school to learn. In the Middle Ages, many people were never taught to read or write, and instead spent their days working in the fields or in the castle, cooking, cleaning, and doing other jobs. Usually, only the children of wealthy people who owned the land and were known as lords and nobles were educated. Some boys were chosen to be knights and spent their days learning in a castle. Now you are ready to think about how education in the Middle Ages was different from modern times. Pause this video to complete the chart on your handout at stop sign number 2. Then hit play when you are ready to continue. You may have included that most children did not go to school unless they were very wealthy in the Middle Ages. But today, almost everyone goes to school. In the Middle Ages, many children worked at a young age, and today, young children don't have jobs. You may have also mentioned that boys sometimes studied to become knights. Personal hygiene, which means keeping your body clean, was not an easy task in the Middle Ages. Today, people usually take a shower or bath every day. Since there was no running water during the Middle Ages, most people rarely bathed. Some people never took a bath in their entire lives. For those that did bathe, it was much different than it is today. Large wooden tubs, known as hip baths, were filled with heated water, and people stood in them to get clean. Public bathhouses, where many people bathed together, were also used for poorer people. Soap was very uncommon, and most cleaned themselves with only water. Wealthy people often used scented oils, herbs, and other plants for fragrance. People in the Middle Ages tried to keep their teeth clean, although they did not have toothbrushes or toothpaste as we do today. They used a cloth and water to wipe teeth clean, and sometimes chewed herbs to try to sweeten their breath. Overall, people were probably very smelly. Now you are ready to think about how hygiene in the Middle Ages was different from modern times. Pause this video to complete the chart on your handout at stop sign number 3. Then hit play when you are ready to continue. You may have included that most people bathed rarely, if ever. There was no running water. People stood in wooden tubs filled with hot water. There was no soap. People sometimes bathed together in public bathhouses. The rich sometimes used oils or perfumes to smell better. Teeth were cleaned with a cloth and water, or herbs were chewed for fresher breath. Eating was also a different experience from today. Most people ate with their hands. Plates and utensils were rarely used. Food was often served on flat, stale pieces of bread called trenchers, which were given to the poor to eat once the wealthy were finished using them. Most homes did not have dishes unless they were wealthy. People were expected to bring along their own knives to cut bread and meat. Spoons were rarely used, and soup was served in cups or bowls. Forks, as we know them, had not even been invented yet. What people ate during the Middle Ages depended on their wealth. The rich people ate expensive foods such as wheat, spices, and meat. Because the rich believed that food from the ground, like fruits and vegetables, was considered peasant food, their diet was actually less nutritious than the poor, who ate fruits, vegetables, cheese, and porridge. Since the water was not clean, people drank weak wine and beer, sometimes about a gallon a day. Now you are ready to think about how dining in the Middle Ages was different from modern times. Pause this video to complete the chart on your handout at stop sign number 4. Then hit play when you are ready to continue. You may have included that most people ate with their hands and carried their own knives, and that trenchers, or stale pieces of bread, were used as plates and even eaten by the poor. You may have also said that even though many foods we eat today were eaten in the Middle Ages, people's diet depended on their wealth. And finally, that most people drank up to a gallon of wine or beer a day. People dressed differently in the Middle Ages too. Both men and women wore many layers. Everyone wore undershirts. Women wore a few layers of dresses, long sleeves, and tights to keep their bodies covered. Men often wore tunics or long shirts. Hats were very important in the Middle Ages and were worn by almost everyone, almost all the time. They kept people's heads warm and served as a symbol of wealth and status. Since dyes, decorations, and high-quality fabrics such as silk, lace, and cotton were expensive, only the upper class wore clothing and hats with rich color, patterns, buttons, and other decorations. The clothing and hats of the poor had less color and very few decorations. Now you are ready to think about how people dressed in the Middle Ages. Pause this video to complete the chart on your handout at stop sign number 5. Then hit play when you are ready to continue. You may have included that everyone in the Middle Ages wore many layers of clothes. Women wore long dresses and long sleeves, and men wore long shirts or tunics. The poor wore clothing made with cheaper fabrics, no colors, and simple hats. Since dyes, adornments, and high-quality fabrics such as silk, lace, and cotton were expensive, only the upper class wore clothing with rich color, patterns, buttons, and other decorations. You have learned how life in the Middle Ages was different from life today, which will help you better envision and understand the upcoming guidebook unit, The Whipping Boy. When you finish this video, be sure to turn in your completed handout to your teacher. You are about to engage in the guidebook unit, The Whipping Boy. The purpose of this video